Hi, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. The nervous system interacts with the immune system, and depending on that interaction, the body responds. There are immune cells of the body and microglia of the central nervous system involved. When a nerve injury occurs, the microglia amplify the signal delivered by the nociceptors. We'll talk about those in a second. And when that signal reaches the brain, we get the feeling of pain. These are important in pain modulation. But when this becomes continuous or chronic, our bodies produce a stress response. We have low serotonin levels, a hormone, as well as other low hormone and chemical levels. I want to focus on serotonin today. Here we go. Serotonin, also called 5-HT, is present in peripheral tissues, which are tissues situated closest to the outside of the body, including those of the immune system. It interacts with the central nervous system and immune systems. It plays an important role in many organs as a peripheral hormone. Most of this hormone is circulating in the bloodstream. Almost all immune cells express at least one serotonin component. Serotonin can modulate cytokine secretion in monocytes and macrophages, as well as other immunoregulatory functions. Peripheral and central neuronal serotonin can modulate immune responses. In addition, blood platelets take up plasma serotonin released from intestinal cells, store it, and release it after stimulation on the side of acute or chronic inflammation. Serotonin also modulates cytokine secretion. Cytokines are protein substances secreted by specific cells of the immune system and have an effect on other cells. Cytokines increase and decrease inflammation, increase pain, destroy pathogens, produce more white blood cells, prevent the replication of viruses, and secrete more cytokines. They're important. But the complex influence of serotonin on immune cells shows their important role in immunity and in inflammatory diseases. Nociceptors are activated. These are the sensory receptors for painful stimuli. So let's go back to the chemicals found in the brain and hormones in the body. We know that there are reduced opioid receptor activities in the parts of the brain that regulate mood and the emotional aspects of pain. There are lower levels of the stress hormones called norepinephrine and cortisol. Low levels of IFG-1, which promotes bone and muscle growth, and up to 3 times the normal level of substance P in the spinal cord, which is also associated with increased pain perception. The problem is that there isn't just one symptom like pain. In fibromyalgia, we have fatigue, stiffness, light pressure pain, pain that moves to another part of the body that doesn't show damage, sleep problems, cognitive problems, fatigue that lasts after an unrefreshed sleep, restless leg syndrome, IBS, sharp pain sensations, numbness, and the list goes on. These groups of symptoms are why fibro is called a syndrome. Serotonin is found in the enteric nervous system and in the brain. The enteric nervous system is one main division of the autonomic nervous system. There are neurons in the enteric nervous system that govern the function of the gastrointestinal tract. Do you experience issues in your gastrointestinal tract? I do. Decreased serotonin levels are found within our gut. It plays a role in feelings of well-being and happiness, or the lack thereof. But it is also a neurotransmitter that's involved in the function of several other organ systems in the body, like our cardiovascular function, bladder control, and bowel movements. In the brain, serotonin originates in the brain stem. It's then projected into parts of the brain and spinal cord. Serotonin is an inhibitory neurotransmitter and does not stimulate the brain. It instead balances out the excessive excitatory effects of other neurotransmitters. So if we don't have enough serotonin, problems with human behavior can occur, such as a lack of being able to pay attention, appetite changes, motor skill issues, or memory issues. Our mood is affected because serotonin is considered a natural mood stabilizer, and why we get feelings of happiness, calmness, and focus, and are considered emotionally stable. It regulates anxiety and depression. Dopamine is also involved in this process to help alleviate mood. The parts of the brain that regulate our sleep have serotonin receptors. Melatonin, a sleep hormone, requires serotonin in order to be produced, but outside of the brain, most of the serotonin is found in the gastrointestinal tract. We need it to promote healthy digestion. It also maintains bone health, eating, sexual function, and healing wounds by blood clotting. Too little serotonin has shown associations with depressed feelings, sadness, and fatigue. Also, with too little serotonin, decision-making, emotions, happiness, and mental health conditions can become a problem. This is why it's often suggested to exercise. How do we do that when we feel like crap every day? Yeah, that's my technical term. People with fibromyalgia that experience depression have an obvious low level of serotonin, but also those with anxiety, including obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD. It's believed that altered serotonin levels in the gut influence brain activity. Serotonin may stimulate the vagus nerve, the long nerve that connects the digestive tract to the brain. There's one on each side of your neck. There's definitely a brain-gut connection. When this connection is cut off, major depression can result. Deep breathing can stimulate the vagal nerve fibers and helps us to relax and to reduce our heart rate. Relaxation techniques or meditation can help too. Poor vagus nerve function is associated with digestive problems, poor sleep, fatigue, and anxiety. Increasing our vagal tone can regulate stress and alleviate anxious feelings. Serotonin influences diseases like gut inflammation, allergic asthma, RA, neuroinflammation in ALS, and fibromyalgia, and autism. Serotonin is thought to suppress the production of substance P, a neurotransmitter that acts on the pain receptors in the spinal cord. If our serotonin is low, it makes sense why we have too much substance P in fibromyalgia. This causes spontaneous pain and tenderness in the deep tissues, which results in widespread pain. Researchers know that an amino acid called tryptophan is essential for the production of serotonin. Tryptophan can only be found in food, but if you're suffering with depression, that's a serious matter. Please seek a mental health professional. You can also increase your levels of serotonin by increasing the amount of tryptophan in your diet. Here's a list of foods that contains whole eggs, especially yolks, are rich in tryptophan, as well as cooked white beans and oat bran, like an oat bran cereal. Black, Roman, or cranberry, pinto, or kidney, yellow, and pink beans also contain tryptophan. Turkey is probably the most popular serotonin-rich food. Cheese is rich in tryptophan. Pineapples, when they're fresh, contain serotonin. Tofu or soy products and salmon. Nuts and seeds like pumpkin, squash, chia, sunflower, flax, pistachio, cashew, almond, and hazelnut are also high in tryptophan. Plant-based sources of tryptophan are considered superior sources when compared to animal-based foods. The body doesn't have to compete with the variety of amino acids from animal-based foods. That doesn't mean you shouldn't eat them. From plants, there's a higher likelihood that it will gain access to the brain. So eating foods high in tryptophan to protein ratio allows the most potential of the tryptophan bypassing the bloodstream and going directly to the brain where it's needed. And when mixed with a little carbohydrate, a serotonin boost can result. There's a distinct link between diet and mental health. So just as certain foods with high content of tryptophan help boost serotonin, there are also foods that worsen our condition. Caffeine is a divisive substance. Studies have found that caffeine is linked to reduced severity of depression, but you have to continue drinking coffee, right? For example, You have to drink it on a daily basis to prevent withdrawals or what feels like withdrawals. But like anything, excessive consumption can result in negative side effects. I drink half calf, about 2 cups a day in the morning. I feel less sluggish, and I've gone off caffeine several times and for months at a time, but I always end up coming back to coffee. But you got to do what you got to do. So, fatty acids or foods rich in omega-3 can trigger serotonin nerve cell receptors. I started taking fish oil about a month ago. It's high in omega-3 fatty acids. It's also good for the eyes, in my case, macular degeneration. And it's known to reduce inflammation and helps the heart. Sunlight. Light from the sun boosts serotonin. Go outside and take a walk, enjoy nature, or sit on the porch or your back deck. Getting a massage can boost serotonin. I do love a good massage. And aerobic exercise is shown to boost serotonin, like running or biking. For those of you who are able to do so, keep it up. Yoga also boosts serotonin. Psychologically speaking, just thinking about happy events in your life can boost serotonin, and it keeps you from thinking negatively. If you have trouble remembering happy events, like those who are suffering with depression, then talk to a family member or a friend to help you remember those happy days. Or look at photographs. I still have my kids' scrapbooks that I made, and I love to look at them from time to time. Well, I hope you learned something. I send you gentle hugs and support. Love you. No reference. Balances out the excessive excited and or the lack thereof. Problems with human